be diagnosed. Like, my diagnosis is kind of something I'm really open about. And a lot of people don't know it just because at that point in my life, I didn't share it with a lot of people.
Would you say that's a big part of the healing process, is being able to open yourself up like that and talk about it freely?
Oh, 100%. 100% I would. And a lot of it is like, the fight for mental health is always really big. No matter what country you're in, no matter where you're going, no matter where you're coming from, it's always a big fight. And I feel like being able to be like, yes, I do have this diagnosis, and it's something that makes me me. And that's the biggest point of, like, you know, looking yourself in the mirror and be like, this is who I am, and this is what makes me me, and that's okay.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's a really good point. I think 100% it has made me, like, see it as a bigger picture. Whereas if I look back at my 21-year-old self, like, this sucks. I have this scary looking diagnosis. I'm like, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. It makes you who you are. On a scale of 1 to 10, do you ever feel this way? And that in that moment, it's very vulnerable and it's very hard to be honest, because a lot of people are like, well, I'm weighing this line of, like, they're just going to put me in a mental institution. And I asked that question straight up, like, if I give you these answers, am I going to be sent away? And she said, no, because this is not what this is for. This is just to classify you. Now, if I were to,
like, afraid to be honest about what you're feeling, like not knowing what the consequences of that might be.
I think a lot of people my age or younger are scared of that. They're scared of, like, I feel like some days I can't get out of bed. I can't pull myself out of bed. That makes me depressed. They're going to call it in. I'm going to go to a mental hospital. And I think it takes a lot of courage to do those things. A lot of people don't realize, like, when you walk into a space like that and they're like, tell us everything that's wrong with you, you're like, pump the brake. Because
Right. So you're glad you went down this path, and in terms of managing your mental health, whatever. What do you call it? I'm not even sure. Like, what's, like, a respectable way to refer to this?
I call it, like, my special gift.
Okay,
That's
I
just
love that.
me, like,
Great.
my little special gift that, you know, that keeps on giving.
I feel like saying your mental health condition. I mean, that I'm like, we're not doctors and we don't play one on TV.
Well, I mean,
and I don't want to act like I know what I'm saying either. So, that's.
I mean, I think the synopsis of the whole background you gave us was all these things happened and you weren't able to process them in that time, and they just built up on top of each other. And it wasn't till you were under this giant pile of this stuff that you were able to start processing it. And it's just taken you this long to process through all of that for yourself and finally get to a point where you can be at peace with it in your own mind.
Do you still get triggers, like going into a doctor's office? Does that still happen pretty regularly?
Yes and no. It depends on the doctor's office. I recently found out that orthopedic doctor's offices are the worst for me.
Because your dad had the knee issue.
Yes. So those are the worst. The smell, the lights, the sounds, they all sound the same. They all smell the same.
Yeah.
The lights are all the same.
It's a remembrance of the childhood stuff.
Yeah, that's the biggest one. Hospitals in general. And I think a lot of that one does have to come with my bio dad, but also Uncle Barry. That's another one. Those are, like, the big ones. Any kind of, like, medical office. Like, went to the dentist yesterday. It was a big one, but it wasn't as bad as it would have been if it was a doctor's office. But those are the big triggers.
Like, this is forever. Like, PTSD with, say it again.
PTSD triggered anxiety and depression.
It doesn't go away. Like, you have it forever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not something that, like, on one day, like, oh,
it's gone.
It's something you got to manage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
how do you manage it? And
a lot of it is, you know, just family, friends, sunshine. The winter is when I struggle the most.
It's like seasonal depression.
It gets worse.
You get one of those lights?
I don't.
You should.
I probably should.
I have a friend who lives in Seattle, and she gets seasonal depression because it's so damn cloudy up there. And she has one of those lights, and she sits underneath it.
Yeah,
that helps.
That's why I had to leave New England. That's why I live in Arizona, because of the sun.
300 and
I had the sad.
50 days of sunshine per year or something like that.
I'm gonna look at the camera for this one, but I do believe that mental health is serious, and I do believe that even if you could suspect one little thing is off with you, like, it's okay to speak to someone, whether if it's a neighbor, a mom, like a grandma, somebody, and let them know how you're feeling. So at least when you're down like that, you have somebody to talk to. And that's really realistically what got me to where I was. And it is scary. It's not going to be easy. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna walk in here and walk out a brand new person. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of homework. It's a lot of in-person work. And I think being able to overcome those steps walking in the door is hard, but even just getting to the door and touching the handle is like the biggest part of this whole process.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Well,
The first step.
yeah.
Every journey begins with the first step. This has been a Shut Up production.
Shut up!